Hi, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Matthew Futrell. I am one of the enrollment counsellors for Coursera, and I'm here today to discuss the online Masters in Cybersecurity with the University of London. And we will have a Q&A at the midpoint and at the end of today's session, where I will answer any questions you have about the course. So as we go along, please ask any questions that you think of. Just let you know, this is sort of a broad Q&A, and I'll be answering questions that are specifically about the program. If you have any particular questions that are related to something personal, like will I be able to get onto the course with these grades or anything like that, rather than ask those, can you please put them, at the end there'll be a link to have a meeting with one of the enrollment counsellors, and we'll be able to answer those questions there. Please don't put those into chat box, because we won't be answering sort of really broad questions that aren't related to the entire group. So welcome. As I say, please answer any questions, and I am here to help. So the Masters in Cybersecurity. What we're running through today is a program overview, the application process, as the applications have opened today, key dates, and then a live Q&A. So the program overview. As you saw in that brief video at the start, this is a brand new course. We've been running it for about 3 intakes, or this will be the 3rd intake. So it started in October. The October intake this year will be the 3rd one. And the course consists of 10 core modules and 1 project. It's 100% online, it's self-paced and flexible. And all you need to be able to commit is about 12 to 15 hours of study a week. That is flexible though, so you don't have to be online at any specific time. And as long as you can fit 12 hours in a week, whether that be a couple of hours a day or you're doing full sort of 7-hour days, weekend, Saturday, Sunday, then this course could be for yourself. So what you'll be learning. On this course, you'll be going through a couple of different modules. Well, there's 10 core modules, so not a couple of different ones. Cybersecurity foundations, security management and governance, cybercrime, applied cryptography, network and infrastructure security, computer system security, software and application security, security and behavioral change, information privacy, and then there's the research methods for cybersecurity, which links into the project, which will be a 30-credit project, giving you the full master's qualification. Each of these modules is 10 weeks long with an exam at the end of it. And they run in a cycle where you can do 2 modules at one time, or 1 module, or you can opt out, and we give you anywhere between 2 and 5 years to complete the course. So as I say, very flexible around your workload. So the course will be running on the Coursera platform. As previously mentioned, the course runs with academic direction from Royal Holloway. And if any of you have done previous Coursera courses, then it runs in a very similar way. So on the left-hand side, you'll have an overview of the week, and it will be broken into weekly installments with video, academic reading, textbook reading, and then there'll be live sessions as well. So although it's broken into weeks, as I say, you don't have to complete it on a weekly basis. We do keep it more flexible, so there aren't weekly examinations that need to be completed, but each 10-week module does need to be completed within that 10 weeks. There are video lectures, there's practice and graded assignments, but then one of the other things that you'll see is there are discussion forums where you can interact with both the other students and the faculty, and there's tutorials with professors where you will be able to ask live questions. Although if you aren't able to attend the live sessions, We do also record these, so they aren't mandatory and you can watch them back at a later date. So if you're on the other side of the world, or they conflict with work or family life or anything else, then you don't have to worry, because you still have the option to watch them, but in a flexible form. So on this course, there are two entry routes onto the course. There is the direct entry route, and there's a performance-based route. So if you have a first class or upper second class or lower class degree or an international equivalent, then you would apply for the direct entry route. And this would get you straight onto the course, and you would have the option to study all 10 modules and do the project. Alternatively, if you don't meet the direct entry route requirements and you have a third class degree and some professional experience or other qualifications, then you can enter via the performance. So having a second class degree from a UK or international equivalent university isn't a sticking point. There is also the performance-based route. On the performance-based route, though, you will have to complete 2 credits and pass them before being able to take on to the full masters. So although you are taking on to the course, on performance, if you do fail the first 2 modules, you won't be able to continue further. So during the application, you will have to show that you have graduated by providing your transcripts and certificates. And as well as that, we do look for an English language proficiency. This could be that you've studied at a UK university or an English-speaking university. Otherwise, you could take the IELTS, Pearson's test, Cambridge certificates, the TOEFL, Duolingo. So there are a lot of different routes you can go down. All of them can be booked either online or at test centres. And below are the grades you would need within those separate courses for acceptance onto this course. So the program structure. The program can be studied anywhere between 2 and 5 years. I say it's self-paced, online and flexible, and it has a variable course load with a maximum of 2 new modules per term. So how this would work is, if you were to do the course in 2 years, you would be doing 2 modules at a time. As I said, each module is roughly 12 to 15 hours of study a week. So if you are looking to do 2 modules, you are looking at around 30 hours of study per week, which you may be doing alongside a full-time job. Obviously, not everyone will be able to commit that much time, which is why we also give you the option to take 1 module at a time. And if you were to take 1 module at a time, the course would take about 3.5 years. And then we also give you the option to take some modules out. If you want to go over the summer, if you had been studying for 2 years and you just wanted a bit of a break, you can opt out of a module and then complete your workload at a later date. So we do also give you anywhere between 2 and 5 years to keep this course flexible for yourself. There are also 3 awards available for this course. So if you were to do 60 credits, which would be roughly 1 core module and 3 of the optional modules, you would award yourself a PG certificate if you decided to leave at that point. If you were to do 120 credits, which would be 1 core module and 7 optional modules, there's a PG diploma is accessible if you were to leave the course at this point. And if you were to complete the full 10 core modules and the project for 180 credits, that's when you would be awarded the full master's, which is a Master of Science in Cybersecurity. Now, obviously, some people will go in and decide that after a few modules that the workload's too high and decide that they want to leave. And the nice thing about this is that as long as you complete 60, 120 or 180, you do walk away with a certificate, even if you don't complete the full master's qualification. Obviously, we do hope that everyone goes right the way through, but obviously life sometimes doesn't work out that way. Each module is worth 15 credits and the final project is worth 30 credits, as I say, making a complete workload of 180 credits. And each 15 credit module is about 150 hours of study. Now, on this course, you'll also have live webinars and tutor support. They're hosted at different times, twice a week. So we do our best to make sure that as many students can attend them as possible. They are live and we record them. And during them, you'll have access to live tutor support and there'll be live Q&A. So like being on campus, this is your one chance sort of every couple of weeks to speak to the faculty, get live questions answered. And then the program cost. There's two costs for this course, depending on location. We do the costings depending on geographic location, and there are band A and band B countries. Maria, my colleague, is going to share in the chat box a link to a financing page. So if you do have any questions about sort of financing, hopefully they will be there. But if you're in a band A country, this course will cost £9,445. And if you're a band B country, it will cost £12,600. As I say, that's depending on geographical location. It's not depending on nationality. So we base the costs on where you're currently living. And I will go through what some of the band A countries are and band B countries in a moment. The course is pay as you go, so you don't have to pay the full cost in advance of starting. It can be paid module by module, and it's paid directly to the University of London via the student portal online, or you can use the Flywire system. The registration payment deadline for this intake will be the 25th of September this year. So my colleague Maria will also share in the chat box a link to this PDF, which will be the country regions. So the band A countries you can see here. I will just give you a few seconds to sort of have a look through that and see which country you are. And as you can see, lots of countries on there. So these countries will be paying the $9,445. And then these are the band B countries. So if you are a UK student, as I'm sure some of you on this call, you'll be a band B country, which means you'll be paying the £12,600 for the course. Once again, if you do have any questions about what band you'll be in, then please do book in some time with one of the enrollment counsellors at the end of this call, and they can discuss that further with you. So, the ideal student. So on this course, we'd be looking for students who are looking to move into roles within cybersecurity, such as business information security officers, security consultants, security specialists. And we are looking to retrain people, so we aren't necessarily looking for people who work in industry. If you do currently work in industry and you have that advantage and you can bring some of those skills to the course, that's absolutely brilliant. But it's not something that we look for, and we are looking to train everyone from the ground up to work within this course. So you won't be behind if you don't have any cybersecurity knowledge. We're looking for people to learn practical applied skills and skills in the cybersecurity field, and also skills to meet the latest industry demand. So we're going to do a short Q&A here. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat box. So if you do have anything that's arisen in the first half of the webinar, then please do put it in the chat box. If I don't answer your question, it might be because it's too specific, or it's because I know the information to be covered in the next few slides. Okay. So the first question is, what's the difference between this master's and the master's in information security from the same university? So this course is 100% online. We don't run information security online, and we don't run cybersecurity on the campus at Royal Holloway. So they are very similar curriculums. This course was built off of the back of what was information security, but also involves more cybersecurity. So it's a similar course with a running themes and foundation through it, but that course is in information security, whereas ours is in the field of cybersecurity. Next question. So are the exams in general proctored and not open book? Each module has a different exam, so there's not one format for all the exams. Each module and module tutor will decide the best way that they wish to administer the exams and grading for their modules. So some of them may be proctored, some of them may be open book, some of them may be written words, some might be multiple choice. Every one will be different, and some might have elements of each. So each one will have a different way of reviewing you and examining and grading you, but they will all be held roughly within the last week of each module. Do you have a link to how to calculate the equivalency of international degrees to your UK systems? We use a system that's called NARIC, which is a paid for system. So I wouldn't be able to share a link to it because it's sort of a subscription. So there are two things you could do. Google has most of the information. So if you do want to get a rough idea, if you Google it, then you will be able to get a roughly equivalent to what it would be. Alternatively, the applications are free. So either speak to your enrollment counselor and I can go through it with you, or the alternative is if you do submit an application, then our team will be able to tell you what the equivalency is. And as I say, the application is free, so making the application won't cost you anything. So if you are unsure, better to sort of make the application and then find out for sure. It's not clear to me whether you evaluate admissions based on the final grade of the degree, international, or the GPA considered all completed courses, or both. It would be an element of both. So we will look at the final grade. So in the UK, as I say, we have the first, second, third class degree, and in the same way as it would be a rough GPA. So go back a couple of slides. We would look for a GPA in the sort of 4.0 GPA system of anything above 2.6, or with a third class degree, something around that. So the GPA system that we use will give us an overall grade of what we would look at for the sort of standard for the course. But then we will also look at individual modules to see where you sort of excelled and also what years you did the best in. So we do look at a bit of everything to make a final assessment of the course. But mainly the main thing we do look at is that you meet the minimum requirement with the overall grade. Does the University of London provide on-campus degree in cybersecurity? No, this course is 100% online. It's exclusively online. The University of London doesn't run this as a campus degree. So I'm just reading through some of these questions. Some of them are quite specific. Once again, some of these are getting very, very specific. So if you do have something about your grades or your particular sort of entry, then once again, there'll be a QR code at the end. Please book in some time with the enrollment counselors and they will be able to help you and ask more specific questions. Are there any additional credits for people that have CISSP certification? No, the course is laid out, so there's no sort of accreditation aside of anything within this course. It is the 10 core modules. If you do think that you've done something previously which would omit a course, we do have a thing called recognition for prior learning. There is a £61 fee to apply for it per module. But if you sat a qualification previously that you think would make you not have to do that a module because you already have those skills, you can apply for recognition of prior learning. There's a link to that on our website. And if you do meet the requirements for it, just to be sure with that though, it would have to be a like-for-like sort of module. So if the course you've done has not been roughly 150 hours and it's not graded, then it's very, very unlikely to meet the requirements. So you would need to have done something quite specific to make up one of those courses, but it is worth looking at. Would your degree certificate mention online when the degree is awarded? No, the degree certificate won't mention this course was studied online. The online part of it is irrelevant because the qualification being received is a master's in cybersecurity. it's not an online master's. You would meet the same academic rigor that you would have to on campus. So the awarding is the same, in the same sense as when you get a course that you've done on campus, they don't put campus degree. It's just the qualification that's put on the certificate. When are the exams held per year? Each module is 10 weeks long, and the exams are held in the final week of each 10-week module. So if you do 3 or 4 modules a year, then there'll be 3 or 4 different windows for when you'll have to be doing exams. I'm a citizen in a band A country, but right now for 3 or 4 years, I'm a resident of a band B country. Will I be paying band A or band B? If your nationality is a band A country, but you're living in a band B country, then you would be paying as a band B country. It's done on your location. So it's where you're currently living. Can I apply for the October intake and postpone it to June? No, that there is an option to postpone, but we don't run a June intake. So there's April. If you don't take your place, then it can be deferred for an intake. So you would be able to start our April intake, but after that, you would have to move on to the another application. How is this MSc in cybersecurity be recognized in terms of getting a job compared to getting cybersecurity certification? I mean, the main thing about this is it's a full master's qualification. So there are a few different sort of routes you can go down with online education or with sort of campus-based education. The one thing I would say about an MSc is that it's an academic qualification that, as I said before, holds all the academic rigor of a full master's qualification. So with a lot of sort of courses, you will get specialization within a certain subject, but most courses that you do won't hold as much weight as an MSc because it won't be sort of a full 1, 2, 3 year course or whatever you decide to do. Most certifications are smaller and they'll be designed at one area of cybersecurity. So you might be able to do something in cryptography, or you might do something in ethical hacking or some other sort of region of subject of the field. But an MSc will take you through, and it's awarded by the University of London, who are sanctioned by the UK Education Board to state that they can give a master's. So it holds the weight of the fact that it's up to a certain standard awarded by the UK government. Can you get both interim certification and the degree? No, the interim certifications are for exit. So if you do up to 60 credits and you get the postgrad certificate, then that is the award you will be given. You can't take the certificate and then move on and get the diploma and then move on and get the 3 qualifications, because they are the credits in a sense are like currency, and once you've spent them, they're used up. So if you use them towards getting a postgrad certificate, then you have that certificate and then you can't use them to gain a further qualification. What you could do is then you can reapply, but then that means that the reason you wouldn't want to do that is that the certifications are worth what the qualification is worth. So once you have the masters, you wouldn't need the earlier interim certification. So no, we just award them as exits, not along the way. Will UK universities consider this degree as valid for potential entry to the UK-based PhD programs in cybersecurity? Yes, this is a full master's qualification which meets the entry requirements for a PhD program. Obviously, when doing a PhD, there's a lot of other criteria involved, both sort of area of study, where you want to write your doctorate in, university places. Funding is also a big one because there's only so many funded spots for each PhD. So it does meet the criteria. Obviously, like any other master's course, there's no guarantee onto a PhD with this qualification, but it will meet the criteria if you were to apply for a PhD. There are still some other questions, but what I'm going to do is just to make sure we get through everything, I am going to carry on with the webinar slides, and then please keep writing questions and I will answer anything I can at the end. So the application process. My colleague Maria will share the Apply Now button, which is the website at the top of this page, in the chat box. But for this course, what you will do is you'll need to go onto the University of London website. If you go onto the Coursera website, there's also an Apply Now button, but all it will do is link you to the University of London website. You'll need to select the award halfway down the page, and then which route you want to go through. And then once again, this is where you'll need to apply for either the direct route or the performance-based pathway. The one thing I will say is if you are going for the performance-based pathway, but you don't meet the requirements, you don't have to reapply for direct or vice versa. The University of London will move you across onto the correct one. So you don't need to worry too much about selecting the right one and think you won't get a place if you select the wrong one. All that will happen is that you will be moved across to whichever one is deemed adequate by our team. And when you apply for when you start the application, there'll be multiple tabs along the top of the page, and we'll ask you for information on your previous study details. There's some personal details. We ask about equal opportunities, education, employment, accreditation you've done, access arrangements, documents, and declaration. You'll need to fill out all of these forms, and you will need to also provide copies of all of your documents. If you don't give us copies of your transcripts and certificates and all the documents we ask, we will request them from you, and we won't be able to make an offer until we've received them. So what do you need? So here's the application checklist. You'll need a scanned copy of ID, your supporting statement, which is the personal statement you'll write. It's only about 250 words, so it's not a massive essay question, it's a few paragraphs. A scanned copy of your academic transcripts and a scanned copy of your academic certificates. There's the option to add your resume, but we do get you to fill out your information within the box. Now, the resume is optional. Filling out your work details within the boxes isn't. So you can't not fill out the personal information because you've submitted a resume. That's just optional. We still need you to fill out the application full. As well as if you could provide us with any professional certificates, which would help us make an assessment for your ability to study this course. So if you have done any sort of further qualifications within cybersecurity or any other technical field that you think would help with your application, please provide them, as well as an English language proficiency score. So this is what the website looks like when you're into it. So there's the overview, admissions, the program, tuition financing. So you need to fill out all of these boxes, and then that will take you through. So next, once you've submitted your application, it will normally take around 10 to 15 working days for us to make you an offer. As I say, if you haven't submitted all the documents, then we will go back to you and you will receive an email. They do have a habit of going into spam filters and junk mail. So please do keep an eye out, as we are requesting more information, we will need to get back. But once you have that offer in place, then we'll get you to register. So you'll need to log into Student Portal, click the Register Now button, and register for all your modules. You can study up to 2 modules per session. So you can either pay for the full cost of the course in advance or pay for whatever modules you're using. So if you're paying for 2 modules, you'll sit 2 modules, and the registration deadline will close on the 25th of September. And then once you've registered and paid for the course, the next stage will be you'll complete your orientation. This will take about 3 to 4 hours, and there's a program policy to read through and make sure you agree with everything. And then you'll receive access to the modules, and the course will start on the 9th of November. One other question we get asked is, if I pay early, do I get access early? You move through as a cohort, so all students start on October the 9th. If you pay in July or you pay on the 25th of September, it will make a difference to when you get the orientation courses. It won't make a difference on when you get access to the course. All students will start on October the 9th. So when you receive your degree certificate, the course, as I said, is 180 credits and it's awarded by the University of London, and the certificate will say on it, the University of London under academic direction from Royal Holloway. If you don't know about the University of London, it's a federation of universities made up of 11 university bodies. The University of London is the collection of the federation, and then the Royal Holloway is one of the universities that sits within the federation of the University of London. So your certificate will be awarded by the University of London, but it will mention the link and academic direction from Royal Holloway. If you don't come to graduation ceremony, you will receive a physical copy in the mail. But if you do wish to come to the graduation ceremony, we do hold one. It's at the Barbican Centre in London, and it will be alongside our campus students. We do the full cap and gown, and you will come and receive your physical copy in person on the awarding day. So the next thing is the key dates. So I think I've covered all the main topics. So the applications are now open. They open today. So I do hope you have enjoyed this and you do want to apply. The application deadline is the 11th of September. So please do make sure that, I know that seems a long way away now, but please do make sure you get all of your applications in on the 11th of September. Registration and payment closes on the 25th, and then classes start on the 9th of October. If you could scan the QR code, or my colleague Maria is going to put a link to our booking links within the chat box. But if you have any final questions, we have about 20 minutes left for any questions. So please do ask away. We've got a few left from the last time we were doing the Q&A, so I'll start at the top and see what I can answer. Okay. How many places are available per intake? So for this course, the last intake, I think we had about 140 people. The one before that, we had about 110. So we look for between 100 and 150 students per intake is what we would be looking for. It's roughly the same amount that you'd keep into a campus-based lecture theatre. For a piece of academic research or professional investigation for the master's project, what's the expected format and word count? We haven't got as far as, we're not publishing this yet because we haven't got as far as a graduating class, or not a graduating class, but as a class that's doing the dissertation project at this point. So once we get to the point of starting it, then we'll publish the details of how that will be done. But just because that's still a way off, we like to keep that a bit sort of open to scope for change. Are there any prerequisites in the technical field to run this program smoothly? No, we don't look for any prerequisites. We'll be building everything from the ground up. The one thing I would say is that also that we're not, although we're looking at teaching some technical skills, we're not a cybersecurity. We're not a course in computer science, so we're not looking to teach sort of coding and Python and R. So that sort of heavy coding, and although we'll take some of an overview look of things like sort of agents and hacking and ethical hacking, and sort of we do sort of an overview of them, we're not looking to teach those sort of technical skills that would mean that you would know how to sort of write and penetrate using code and things. So that's not part of what we're teaching here. So although there is sort of technical skills within the course, and we are looking for business-based skills as well that you could implement within work, we don't look for anyone to have any sort of coding experience or anything like that, because we're not looking to teach that. Is there any template available for the letter for the employers regarding efficiency in English language? No, because it's not the primary way we would look for. So a letter from an employer isn't sort of the main way we would look for you to prove your use of English, because it's not quantifiable to us. In some circumstances, if you've been working in the UK for a while, I believe the university may make exceptions based on sort of, we might be able to use, but the reason there's no template is it's not what we'd be looking for. If we are looking for proof of English from you, it would be sort of an academic proof of English. So we would be looking for you to do the TOEFL or Duolingo. But it is looked at case by case. So if you supply what you have, then our admissions team will look at that. And then if they think something further is required, then they will reach out to you and ask you for that. What are the ways we can pay fees online? Is there any scholarship or something available for this program? So the course can be split module by module. So it doesn't all have to be paid in advance. It can be paid, as I say, in installments. And whether you do that over 2 years or 5 years, depending on how long you take to study, as it's module by module, the longer you study for, the longer you have to pay. But we don't actually at this stage offer any scholarships or bursaries for this course. So all of our students are full fee paying students. There aren't any scholarships to apply for. Is there a waiver for English language requirement if a prospective student has an undergrad taught in English? Once again, this is quite a specific question. The best thing to do, Michael, would be to make an application and then they will let you know. I'm not part of the admissions team. I have an overview of what we look for, but I wouldn't want to give people the wrong advice. So if you've studied your undergraduate taught in English, this will depend on when that was sat. If it was sat within the last few years, then there is a chance it may be waived. If it was sat 20 years ago, then they might look for something different. So this is why I would say the best thing to do would be make an application and speak to our admissions team, because they make the final decision. Who's the best person to speak to regarding questions on curriculum? The best thing to do would to book in some time with the enrollment counsellors. But also, if you would like to speak to a member of faculty, there is another Q&A session. I think it's going to be on the 26th of July. That date's not confirmed yet, but it will be around then with a member of the faculty, and they would be able to answer some more academic questions. Is advanced mathematics knowledge required for this course, like applied cryptography? No, we're not teaching those sorts of applied skills that would need advanced mathematics. Once again, we're not teaching sort of coding skills or anything along those lines that would need you to know anything that's even close to that. So no, advanced mathematics isn't a prerequisite for this course. Well, the program isn't computer science focused. Will students learn basic programming and penetration testing skills? There might be some very, very basic programming, but if you ask a question like that, I think it's probably not going to be as in-depth. And I think we sort of cover the topic of penetration testing, but I don't think we sort of teach you how to do it. So if you are looking for sort of like those deeper skills, and you are looking for something that's more computer science focused, normally in a course on a master's, to do that sort of thing, you would be looking for something that has maths within it. So we had a lot of the same sort of questions come up again. So there's quite a few questions, but a few of them are sort of duplicates of what's been answered before. Will I be able to complete one module per semester instead of two? Yes, that's why we give you up to 5 years to do the course. So if you only want to do one module at a time, you can, and then the course will take about 3.5 years if you don't take any study breaks. So it's 2 years as a minimum, but we do give you up to 5. So there's lots of flexibility within the course. Do you offer help to get jobs? So we do have a good alumni, and we also have a career center that you will have access to. There's no sort of intern program within this, and there's no sort of guaranteed job offer, and we don't sort of we don't have a sort of job center, so there's no direct links with industry set up within this course. So there's no sort of direct line from finishing this into a job, but we do have a career center who are there to help people to graduate, to gain sort of jobs afterwards. So although we have no direct link to industry to sort of make job offers, we can sort of do CV reviews and sort of help you along the way. Okay. Someone's written, is there any list of recognized professional body, or can you name a few? Sorry, that question is really vague. I don't know what. Could you give some more detail on what you mean by that question, please? How many semester sessions per year? We do 2 intakes a year, as I said. There's October and then there's April. So we do 2 starts a year, and then we run every 10 weeks. We run a new course. So we run about 5 sessions per year back to back, and you can do 2 modules per session, meaning that there's sort of 10 modules. Sorry, it's 4 a year, and then there's sort of 1 during the second year, and then there's dissertation. So you can do up to 8 modules a year, and then in the second part of the second year, or first part of the second year, then you would do another 2 modules, and then that would give you about 9 months to write your dissertation, making it 2 years. So it's every 10 weeks, so it's about every 2.5 months. We do about 4 a year. Do I need to get a student visa to take this MSc degree? No, this course is 100% online. So apart from graduation, there'd never be a reason that you need to come to campus. So you do not need to get any visa to come do this course. Is this course recognized or approved by the National Centre for Cybersecurity? It's not accredited at this time. The course it's built off of the back of, which is the Information Security Royal Holloway course, is recognized and accredited by the NCSC. We can't get accreditation yet because we haven't had a graduating class. For all accreditation, you need a certain number of students to have gone through. As we're only 1 year into a 2-year minimum course, we wouldn't even be able to apply for accreditation like that until we've had some graduated classes. But they have confirmed that once we do meet the criteria, any previous students would sort of be backdated to be covered by the NCSC accreditation. But at this time, no, we're not sort of approved. But this course is a full master's qualification, so that's what we're offering. We're not offering accreditation with this. We're offering sort of the qualification that you'd be receiving upon graduation. Okay. Okay, so I think we've answered everything so far. I'll give it a few more minutes. There's about 10 minutes left of questions if anyone wants to ask them anything. So please do get any final questions in. And if there's no more in the next couple of minutes, then we can end early. But please just, any final questions or thoughts, please send them across to me and I'll do my best to answer what I can. If I choose to pay per module, can the price be changed or adjusted? Yes, it can. So if you do pay for the full course in advance of starting, it is locked in at £12,600. If you do pay module by module, there is a chance that it can rise with inflation, which is up to 5% per year. We've actually just had a price increase. So the last intake was £1,000 per module, and it's now gone up to £1,050 for the Band B countries. That's not saying that there will be a price increase every year and year on year, but there could be small incremental intakes a year, but it's only once a year that we'd increase the price. and it won't ever be by more than 5%. Applicants with the appropriate professional experience qualifications from a recognised professional body will be considered on an individual basis. Do we have a list of these bodies? No, we don't. That assessment is made by the University of London, and it would be a very long list. So it's looked at case by case. So if you think you have something that would meet that criteria, then please apply with it. There's sort of no standard for it. And it wouldn't be something that you would be able to do now to get onto the course, because we would be looking at quite hefty qualifications. So if you already hold something, then please apply with it. But the recommendation wouldn't be to do some accreditation to get, or to do a certificate to get onto this course. So please apply with what you've got. But no, we don't have a published list of what we would receive, because we look at all students as a whole, not for one criteria. So what one might have as a professional certificate, another might also hold, but one might have 5 years experience, so get onto the course, and the other one might not. Or the other one might have a lower grade, but have that course, which means that between the two, we give them an offer of a place, but the other one might not have the degree and just have the certificate. So we don't publish that because it's a backup to get you onto the course. It's not the criteria that we're making the assessment on. So if you do think you have something that would meet that, then please do apply with it. Is there a limit to the number of guests that can attend graduation? No, anyone who graduates will be allowed to attend the graduation. Is the information security course from Royal Holloway also offered online? No, the information security course is only offered on campus, and the Masters in Cybersecurity is only offered online. So they're two separate courses, and they're kept separate. Okay. Okay, I think that's everything. Once again, there's been a few more questions come through. I'll just give it a minute more in case anyone thinks of anything. Oh, sorry. The person who asked about the numbers of people who can attend graduation, we're asking about the number of guests they can bring with them. In all honesty, I don't know the answer to that question. I can ask it though, so just so I know who I'm sending that to, if because it's just come up as anonymous. If you could reach out to me afterwards so that I've got your details, I can ask that from campus, and then once I have an answer to that, I can give it back. So yeah, so if you can click the QR code on the right with the little dinosaur in, and please reach out to me, and then I can answer any questions about sort of students coming to campus once I've asked the admissions team.